You may think it's because of how hard learning algorithms are or how steep the learning curve is, but the truth is, it's because there are too many distractions nowadays. We are in the age on which, on average, our attention span has been reduced to seconds due to overwhelming stimuli and distractions. According to a University of California, Irvine, it takes an average 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back to a task. Especially since coding is a form of work that requires a lot of deep focus, this makes it more difficult now more than ever. I certainly noticed a difference back when I was learning coding 7 years ago compared to now. 7 years ago, all I had for distractions was an occasional message from a friend or a girlfriend or a friend wanting to go outside to get some fresh air, and I'll occasionally join them and just talk and, get some fresh air. But now these distractions have evolved into something much more dangerous. Social media have become more toxic, more stimulating, more engaging, and especially more addictive. And I was a victim of these distractions, and social media in particular was my weakness. I often find myself brain dead scrolling like a zombie in Facebook or Instagram. I was just wasting time, even though I hated what I feel when I go to these apps or visit these websites. There were times when selecting music before coding ends up in a brain numbing scrolling, or when I open my phone just to respond to a single message, it ends up somehow me watching a video on something that doesn't have any value at all. It's so hard to accomplish something with coding when we are hit by dopamine by the seconds, when we are used to being hit with dopamine by social media or TikTok or any apps that you may use now. I'm not aware of all the apps. And without a shred of hard work, it makes us numb to actual successes in the real world. Like cocaine, we already feel the rewards, we already feel the fruits of our labor without actually doing anything. That's the effect of social media. I often see most of the people I mentor feel like they weren't achieving enough. I see them make a function and work hard on that function for an hour, and they get to make it work, but they never really feel that fulfilled, or they still feel underwhelmed about the coding achievement that they've made. It's vastly different from when I first started learning, where I'll jump up and down with joy because I've managed to make a very simple function work. Feeling code about coding fades so quickly nowadays and don't feel as good, since we are used to feeling good all the time because our phones constantly feed us with notifications like, hey, someone liked your photo, hey, someone commented on this one, and the new information that we get from scrolling hits us with more dopamine by the seconds. It was mentioned in the book Atomic Habits that willpower alone isn't enough. It is better to set up an environment for success. Following this concept, I've turned off all of my notifications on my phone and deleted apps that can reduce productivity. Mainly social media apps, because they are my weakness, and it surely helped me on gaining back the lost productivity. And I get to do deep work more often because there are no notifications to distract me even by a second. I even deactivated my social media accounts. I do believe we should dial back at least 5 to 10 years back, when life doesn't have all that distractions and we can afford to be bored. Because I'll be honest, being a software engineer is a boring job. There's just thinking and typing and thinking again of how you can manage to implement an idea or a concept. Next thing is multitasking. Multitasking impairs focus by a lot. Multitasking takes a serious toll on productivity. Our brains lack the ability to perform multiple tasks at the same time. In moments where we think we are multitasking, what we're actually doing is just shifting from one task to another very quickly. Focusing on a single task is a much more effective way to approach learning how to code. It's because coding will lead to a lot of disaster when we're multitasking, and I base this from my experience. I usually eat while coding, and were the moments where I actually commit a lot of mistakes. Sometimes I'd rather teach people who are not tech savvy enough because they listen when they need to listen, code when it's time to code, and they ask questions and they don't look at the phone and then ask the question and then look at the phone again. They spend less time on their phones. That's why I like teaching older people more than young adults who blast the tutorial in the background while they're doing something else. That is not the way to learn. So if we want to make it in this industry and be relevant and be in this industry longer than usual, then we must unlearn a lot of these habits that social media and the apps in our phone have taught us, that ingrained bad habits in our daily lives, and we can continue with a fresh mental state. I am currently on the journey to decluttering and detoxing, replacing social media time with exercise and scripting and creating videos such as this. Let me know in the comments if you have tips to detox, and share your experience so that we could all learn from it. And we are all going to make it. Better days are coming.